I'm going to start the recording. Welcome, Indigenous family, and thank you for watching our interview today. Today with us, we've got Dr. Melody Diaga, the founder of the Mind Moves Institute, and she's a developmental specialist. But Dr. Melody, thank you so much for joining us today. If you could just give us a little bit more information about yourself and your institute.
Morning, parties and colleagues. Thank you, and parents and teachers and therapists.
Yeah.
Welcome. If you love children, I love you. So Melody Diaga from the Mind Moves Institute, well, the Baby Gym and Mind Moves Institute is a research and training institute in support of child development. So we are absolutely besotted with children and with learning, because there's such a strong link between a child and a person's ability to learn and their self-esteem. So if we can help them to learn with greater ease, oh, we have such happier people in our beautiful country, people, children, and later adults who will really thrive. So at the Institute, we focus on neuroscience and the role specifically of the child's body in their thinking process and learning. So our focus is predominantly on the physical body, they call it embodied cognition. So to be able to think, your body has to work well. And that's our focus at the Institute. It's in South Africa. It is in South Africa. It's in Johannesburg. But we've got instructors all over South Africa and Namibia, and some in Spain, and some in Denmark, and some in Russia. And so we go.
That's the wonderful thing about education and development, is that it doesn't matter actually which country you live in, the body follows a pattern. And if that pattern is interrupted, then certain things won't happen. And if the pattern is left and supported, then certain things will happen, regardless of your race, where you live, your culture, you know, and
absolutely.
That's the most fascinating thing about what makes us all, what we all have in common as human beings. Okay.
Fatu, if I may quickly just add,
yes.
What I find fascinating, especially when I traveled internationally, and you know, you want to give examples of children's development. And I always said, I need to study children in this country before I'll have examples to use when I talk. And then when you watch the children, you use the South African examples in any country in the world,
yes,
because children are children.
Yes, yeah, and that's just, it fascinates me. Okay, so today we are we're talking predominantly about learning, but since our focus for the month, we are looking at school readiness. What is school readiness, and why is it important for us to be aware of it, and specifically when children then move from a nursery school either to grade R and grade 1, and a lot of the parents who will be watching this would have started to apply and would have had to send children for assessments, and then you start having discussions with teachers around this topic. So if you can distill it a little bit for us so that we can understand.
Okay, so school readiness is a term used that describes whether a child is ready to move from the world of play and real things, tables, chairs, dolls' corners, computers, real things, from the world of real things to the world of symbols. Because the moment you go to grade 1, in grade 1, we don't work with real things anymore. Well, it would be very helpful if we did, but most schools in grade 1 don't. We only use symbols. Now, what are symbols? The letters of the alphabet, the ABC, the 1, 2, 3, the plus, the minus, the full stop, and all of those things. And that's what, it's incredibly important that a child is physically, emotionally, socially, and cognitively ready to move from the world of play to the world of symbols. It's not natural. You must remember, writing and reading is not natural. Walking is natural. Talking is natural. Eating is natural. Climbing a tree is natural for some. You
Yeah.
understand? All children do that.
Yes.
Not all children read and write because it's not natural. They need to be ready for it. It's like when you go as an adult, you go, or a young adult, you go for your learner's license and then for your license to drive a car. You need to be ready for that. You can't just take the exam. You're going to fail. And that's the thing with school readiness. It typically applies to children between the ages of 5 and 6.5. But closer, it should only apply to children who are 6 years of age already, because when a child is 6 years old and they go to grade 1 in the year that they turn 7, their brain is much more mature. Their body is more mature if they've been stimulated, obviously. So school readiness has little to do with age. You can keep a child at home doing nothing for 10 years and they will not be school ready. So school ready has something to do with children acquiring minimum skills to enable them to be ready. And if I say ready, don't just think on the outside, you know, can they skip? It's very important. Can they skip with a rope? Can they tie their own shoelaces? And parents often say, but my child doesn't wear shoes with laces. They only use Velcro shoes. I don't care. A child before they go to grade 1 must be able to tie their shoelaces. And it's anybody's shoelaces, grandpa's shoelaces. It's not about tying the shoelace. What school readiness is actually about is what must happen in here before a child is able to tie a shoelace. What must happen in here neurologically before a child is able to skip with a rope and then later to write and read, learn the letters of the alphabet and then write and read it.
And I think your description is spot on. Because like yourself, where sometimes parents will come and say, no, but our child at home can recite this video, can point at these pictures, yet the school is saying he or she is not ready to go to school. But when you're saying, when we're looking at school readiness, as you say, we are looking at what is going on in the brain to ensure that the child is able to learn the other things that are involved in the school, not just only reciting the video that they're reciting at school. At home, for instance.
No. The question is actually, number one, can the child speak the language, understand and speak the language that will be spoken in grade 1? Can they do that fluently? Because if they can't understand and speak a language, how do we expect them to write or read that language? So language is incredibly important. Incredibly important. There are many other things as well that's equally important. And Pata, if I may, can we just quickly talk about date of birth?
Yes.
You see, parents, let me explain it from my perspective in my family. So I have 3 children. They're young adults now and they all have their own children. But when they grew up, I constantly say to them, when you have a child and you're going to live in South Africa, you must curb your passion and you must work out when to be passionate to conceive a baby, because ideally that baby must please be born in February or March or April, January maybe. But if a baby is born in January, they may be early and then they're born in December, because you see, the thing with age is a baby who is born in, let's say, January. That baby is nearly walking when another baby born in the same year is born in December. So the one born early in the year has a whole 11 to nearly 12 months head start on the development of a child that is born later in the year. And I find it doesn't mean because a child is born later in the year that they will not be school ready. But I specifically want to talk about age because very often, most often, parents use age as the measure whether a child is ready. Age is not the right measure. You must determine if the child has developed the necessary skills. And you know what? In our beautiful, beautiful country, it is the parent's right to say, my child, on advice, obviously, professional advice. But if my child is not ready to go to grade 1, my child is not failing when that child does grade R for another year, because it enables that child to mature sufficiently to excel in grade 1, 2, 3, 4, and onwards. Because if you send a child to grade 1 that is not ready, it's a life sentence. It's hard work and tears for 12 years. And while that child feels that I must be stupid because everybody else is understanding things I'm not understanding, there must be something wrong. No, there wasn't something wrong. Maybe you just needed a little bit more time to develop so you can thrive and learn with greater ease.